First, we will pay homage to the lineage gurus. To the Venerable Mang Liao Ming, we pay homage. To Master Sage Zeng Kong, we pay homage. To the 16 Dharma Karmapa, we pay homage. And to Master Dupten Darji, we pay homage. And homage to the main deity of the group practice today, Amitabha Tathagata of the infinite life and infinite light. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Sumu, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, temple directors, all disciples present here and over the webcast, and our guest of honor today, the wife of the Ambassador Liao of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Taiwan, Dharma Sister Judy, accountant to the True Buddha Foundation, Dharma Sister Teresa, from the CTI TV in Taiwan, the producer for the Illuminating Your Heart program, Dharma Sister Rebecca, Dr. Zhuang, Dr. Lin, and many other masters, reference, and disciples from all over the world. Good evening. How are you? How do you do? So let me first talk about the Homa at the Rainbow Temple tomorrow. That will be held tomorrow. That's of Sangharama. So this General Guan is very famous in China, and his righteousness and justice were very famous. Like in Taipei, there is a temple called the Xingtian Gong that's really huge. So if you can create affinity with this deity, that would be very good. And tomorrow we will perform the Homa, fire offering of this deity, to this deity. So we welcome everyone to participate. Thank you, everyone. So typically in China we say that at every house there is Amitabha Buddha, and in every family there is Kuan Yin Bodhisattva. And there are two more deities that are very famous. One of them is this Guan Gong, General Guan, or the Sangharama. So in each shop, almost every shop would enshrine this deity. And then the other deity is Ma Zhu, that are very famous in this world. And Ma Zhu also went to New York City. So in New York City, there's also a temple of Ma Zhu. So today, I would like to talk about the main deity of the group practice today, Amitabha Tathagata. Everyone knows Amitabha Buddha, but you do not know the profound meaning behind it, or the secret of Amitabha Buddha or Amitabha Tathagata. What is his secret? Any Buddhist can say Namo Amitabha. Or when Buddhists meet each other, they would say Amitabha. But in China, in mainland China, they would say Omitabha. But in Tantric Buddhism, not Amitofo, but Amitofo. So it's Amitabha, not Amitofo. And that's because of the movies. The fake monks would say to each other Amitofo in the movies. Actually, this phrase has a meaning. Like I said before, infinite life and infinite light. So his lifespan is infinite. And his light is infinite, is omnipresent. It reaches any place. So that's the secret meaning of this Buddha. So as a Buddhist, we need to understand of all the Buddhas. And Amitabha Buddha, also a great healing Buddha, not just medicine Buddha, is a healing Buddha. So the Pure Lands in the east or in the west, in the flower ornament realm, actually there is no difference between east and west or south and north. It is just a method, a skillful means to deliver sentient beings. They differentiate between the different directions. So that's only for the salvation. They differentiate the different phenomena, different look and form. Actually, there is no difference. So today we will continue to talk about Chiche, or the leaping through the Dzogchen, the Chen of Dzogchen. But before, let me share 3 jokes, not so good jokes. When we were in class, as students, the teacher would give us a competition for writing an article. And the title is Gradually. And a student wrote, after work, my dad gradually come home. And this is actually Chinese words, Chinese idioms. So it sounds like he has many dads. And then there's another teacher that asked the student to write about a mist, like AMIDST. This is also Chinese related joke. it's like one of the, so the student wrote that one of my feet was hurt. So the teacher asked, are you a scorpion that have lots of feet? It turned out. So the student wrote, it turned out that he is my dad. So the teacher wrote that the mom should pay attention to this. That's in Chinese, it's called cutting off or cutting through. With cutting through, there would not be those 3 jokes, because the jokes but in the Dzogchen, it is the ultimate and the absolute. There's no second answer. So in this Dzogchen, in this Chen, there are 4 kinds of yoga that you need to practice. Then you would be close to this Dzogchen. And you need to settle them, which means you need to enter into meditation and at such place. And the first yoga is called Anzusimi. So it's like you are settling like the Mount Meru. So you're very settled like the Mount Meru. So Mount Meru is considered the center of the whole universe in Buddhism. So Mount Meru, at the bottom, it touched the ground, and then it would narrow at the center, and then enlarge again, and at the top, it's flat. So it looks like the waist of a beautiful lady. So it means you need to be like the mountain, unmoved. So the thoughts would be fixed there, unmoved. And also your external, the physical body is also unmoved like a mountain. So this is the first yoga called settling the Mount Meru. That's closer to Dzogchen. I wrote about this before in my book when I was in the Ling Shen attic in Ballard. I had lived in several houses in Seattle area. The first is in Ballard, and I was in retreat for about 3 years. I didn't have many disciples then because most of my disciples were in Taiwan. So because there weren't many disciples, so I didn't have much business. So I asked for a table, a desk from Master Lien Huo. And Master Lien Huo asked me, what is it for? Oh, because I want to put it in my living room. Maybe people would come for spiritual consultations. And Master Lien Huo laughed at me. This is Seattle in America, Ballard. Other than us, there's no other people, no other disciples. And truly it was indeed. So Master Lien Ho had a furniture business, but he didn't even give me a desk. Oh, well, later on he did give some to me when I moved. So first, so nobody knew about me. So, because I was lonely, so I might as well go into a retreat. When I walk out the house on that road, there's not even a single car. I was living on 10th Avenue. So, between 80th Street and 10th Avenue, and there's not even a single car on the roads there. And when I opened the door of the house, I couldn't even see a cat. So I went to the attic called the Shen attic and went into retreat and entered into meditations. And as soon as I entered into meditation, my whole body is gelled and solid and settled, and to become a huge mountain quietly set there. The whole person became a mountain, unmoved. And at that time, there were two great gods that were traveling in the sky. And then they said, how come there's a huge mountain here? They didn't know about it before. We've been traveling, we're traveling so much all around and never saw a huge mountain in Ballard. So one of the spirit god or spirit ghosts talked to the other one, aren't you the God with great power, and with the single palm you can topple a huge mountain or split apart the mountain? Why don't you try it with your powerful palm? So the great God with the great power thought that maybe he should try it, and he did. And the mountain didn't move at all, and instead his hand got swollen. And then the other God I had this like a genie vase, like an Aladdin lamp that could absorb anything into it. So the God recited a mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, and trying to absorb the mountain to enter into his his vase. But the mountain still cannot move. Couldn't and didn't move. So the two ghosts finally traveled or flew around the mountain. So what that meant is that you need to practice until you could transform yourself to become Mount Meru that could not be touched or moved by anything. That any event or any occurrence cannot affect you at all, and only this would be called meditation. So if you could meditate so that you are unmoved at all, just like Mount Meru, only this kind of meditation would be called meditation, that you are truly in meditation. Then you are totally settled and unmoved, and nothing could move you. But this is really hard. It's hard to say in this world. That I have shared this joke before, that during the great earthquake in Sichuan, there were 4 old ladies playing mahjong, and there was a big earthquake. And one of the old ladies stood up and said, let me take a look, and opened the windows. And all the different buildings, they're all moving. And then she said, don't worry, everyone is moving, let's continue. It's the same everywhere. They're trembling. So even the mountain can tremble, can move, can quake. So although Grandmaster practiced to become like Mount Meru, very strong and unmoved, but Grandmaster is worried about 2 kinds of quakes, 2 kinds of earthquakes. So think about it, which 2? I cannot say it. So you need to be like Mount Meru, unmoved. Even though everything else moving around you, doesn't matter what happens around you, you are unmoved. And the second yoga of this Dzogchen is that you're settled like the ocean. But isn't the ocean moving? Why do you say? But you know that the oceans are of one taste. That all the oceans only have one taste. And what taste is it? Taste the ocean water on your tongue. It is salty. It only has one taste. The ocean water is not sweet, it's not sour or spicy, but the ocean water is only one taste. So you should be like the ocean water with one taste, only one, like the Buddha nature. The Buddha nature is one taste. So I wrote a poem that the Buddha nature is like the ocean, and the human world is like the ocean waves, and we are traveling amidst them, and eventually, finally, we return to the ocean. Have you heard of this song before? The Buddha nature is the ocean, and the human world is the oceans, and we're traveling amidst them. Finally, we return to the ocean. Finally, we still return to the ocean. So the ocean has only one taste, and you should focus or settle like the ocean. you have no you. You are the Buddha nature, and you are only one taste. There is no the so-called you, I, or he or she. That finally, we all return to the ocean. So that's Chichi, only one taste, and that is the Buddha nature. So you need to know that in order to comprehend Buddha nature, once you comprehend the Buddha nature, that is enlightenment. Chichi, or cutting off, is to let you gain enlightenment. And this one taste is close to the Buddha nature. And the third yoga is settling, which means that you are going with the flow. So in this case, you would have lots of transcendental power, all the supernatural power, and you would generate luminosity or light. And you would also have various kinds of sensations. And don't be surprised at them. Each kind of sensation, you need to be settled at those sensations. So there would be a kind of sensations that would happen, and you need to dwell on the sensations without getting attached to it or without being affected by them. So, for example, Grandmaster now is 70 years old, and I'm not as young and handsome as when I was 20 years old. But when I was young and handsome, I would comb my hair toward one side and would cover half of my eyebrow. And I would shake my hair and it would look very cool. But now, my hair is gone. So whether you have hair or not, doesn't matter. Whatever appearance you have, you are settled in that appearance. And you are unaffected by it. So when I was young, I was very naughty. I climbed to the roof, I climbed the walls and jumped from roof to roof. And I was learning from the Kung Fu novels, trying to fly in the air. And also learning how to jump or to fly on the grass. So fly for a few moments before. So I was very childlike before, and now I'm still very childlike. So I dwell or I settle in the child's world, and I live my life very happily. You need to be like this. Doesn't matter what happened. Doesn't matter what happens or what appears, you still dwell and settle in that childlike form. So the look of the child has gone, and the look of youth has also been gone. And now I have the look of an aging man. And looking at my own wrinkles, I was wondering if I want to get an injection of Botox. But I still haven't gotten any till now. So with the wrinkles, with the injection, it would stretch the skin and there would be no more wrinkles. It would smooth, and you need to get the injection every 6 months, and you have to pay 40,000 NT dollars each time. I have a disciple who is the head of the plastic surgery department. He is a plastic surgeon. So he is also a PhD and a medical doctor in Taiwan. And he said that when he gave injection of Botox to his patients, and there was a little bit of leftover, and he would collect them and then give the injections for free if Grandmaster wants it. But no, never, because I'm settled with whatever that happens. What will be, will be. It's fine. And your heart is unmoved. Okay, let me share a joke. In the woods, there are two rabbits who are meeting each other by accident, and they're talking about the big news of the forest. And one of the rabbits said, "Do you know there's a new epidemic that when the rabbits are infected, then we would think that we are mad." And the other rabbit asked the other rabbit, "Are you mad? Because we are lions." So recently in Taiwan, there is an epidemic of the rabies. And then the dogs would had seizure. And if you are infected, then you would be dead for sure. And there are over 20s who died already. So the rabbits thought that they are lions. That's wrong. So in Tantrayana, there is a saying, the place that the lion can jump to, the rabbit cannot follow, because the lion can jump very far, but the rabbits would die if he tried. It's the same with Tantrayana. Some is poisonous, and if you are a rabbit and you eat tantric Dharma, then you would be dead from the poison. But if you are a lion and you eat this poisonous tantric Dharma, then there would be like a nectar. So between a poison and nectar are opposites. If you don't know the method and you do it, then it would be the same as taking a poison and you would be dead. But if you know the methods and you do it, then you would be like drinking nectar and you would have attainments. So tantric Dharma cannot be practiced at your own will, and if you don't follow the procedures, that's not allowed. But if you have attainments, if you are an adept and you know how to practice it and you practice it, then you would obtain the nectar. But other people that don't, then they would be poisoned to death. So that's why everyone has to receive the proper empowerment, have the proper guru to teach you, and then to start your practice properly, step by step. You don't want to jump and leap over to the top, because some people said that they want to practice the Adi Buddha, the primordial Buddha, Samantabhadra, wrote letter and asked for the empowerment of Adi Buddha. Are you the Lion King or you're a rabbit? That's the question. If you are a rabbit and you practice Adi Buddha, then that would be as if you're taking poison. But if you are a Lion King, a practicing Lion King, and you do the practice of Adi Buddha, then it would be easy for you to gain spiritual response or yogic response. So that's how tantric practices are. You cannot do the practice if you see other people practicing. So it depends. So Sri Singha of the Great Perfection in Tantrayana divided the outer Tantra and inner Tantra, and the secret Tantra and the highest secret Tantra. They're all great perfection. So you cannot start with the secret Tantra or the innermost secret Tantra. You should start from the outer Tantra and then the inner Tantra and then the secret Tantra and then the innermost, utmost secret Tantra. That's the stages. Those are the stages. Sri Singha divided them. So if you don't gain any yogic response in each state, you don't want to leap over the second or the next stage. Because if you're not a lion, you should not jump. So you should dwell and settle in the whatever that appears. So if you are in Mahayoga, then you should settle in this Mahayoga and practice until you gain fruition. And if you belong to the Anu Yoga, you should be settled in the practices of Anu Yoga until you attain fruition, step by step. And you should also dwell and settle in light or radiance, because you're already unmoved, one taste and transcendental power. If you can dwell and settle in this, then you can also settle in your own radiance. You generate your own radiance or clear light and you dwell in it. So these are the 4 yogas of Chökyi. You need to remember this. And in the future, I would talk in greater detail how to dwell and settle in Mount Meru, in the ocean, and in whatever appears, and also in clear light. These 4 kinds of Chökyi, or the 4 yogas of Chökyi. So the Chökyi also has 3 kinds of liberation. So today, studying Tantric Buddhism is in order to gain liberation. In the dairy farm, the liberation is called so the horse said to the ox, "I miss you." And the ox said, "Me too." And the horse said, and actually not the ox, the cow said, "Me too." And then the horse was excited and said, Can I kiss you? And the ox shook her head and said no. And the horse was very upset and asked why. And the ox was ashamed and said, this is a Chinese idiom, that the ox should not match with the horse's mouth. So anyone that says no is because they are not liberated yet, because they still have concerns in their heart. So what concern would you have? Just kiss. It's no big deal. You would not give birth to a child doing that. So just kiss. So it's just a little itch on the skin. So sometimes people have concerns. That means that they have not gained liberation. A true liberation has no concerns whatsoever. Nothing exists. So what would you be concerned about? So Grandmaster would like to bare his chest for everyone to see. But Master Lianzi of Taiwan Li Zhangsi said, no, no. He got really excited saying no, because he had concerns, but Grandmaster has no concerns whatsoever. So what's the big deal about it? So at most everyone just saw. I don't lose anything, and you don't gain anything. So what's the big deal? But because those people were crying out loud, no, no, like they were farting, they had lots of concerns. Oh, it was too bad. I wanted to show my muscle. But no, there were too many people having too many concerns, so I had no chance. So in the future, when I'm doing my gymnastic, I would wear the low cut. Because Grandmaster has no concerns, like lots of people have. So you need to have an innocent heart, a bare heart. A great sadhaka or great cultivator don't have much concerns at all, nothing to be concerned about. If you are a totally liberated person, doesn't matter what other people say. And once you sweep them off, they're all gone. So like in the autumn, that in Seattle we have all the foliages and the leaves are falling on the ground, and once you sweep them, they're all clean. So at the bottom of your heart, it's very clean and you're liberated, so you have no concerns whatsoever. So like when I kiss Ping I kiss very loudly. Very loud. Or kiss the heaven. But when Ping is not around, then who should I kiss? Nobody said, kiss me. So if you are a great sadhaka, what are you afraid of? There's nothing to be afraid of. So you don't move, you don't change expressions even in front of the huge anything. Because you have attainments, you already gain enlightenment, and you can go anytime you should go. So what are you concerned about? So anyone with concerns mean that your heart is still not clean, and you cannot dwell and settle in the clear light. So you have not reached the realm of liberation, but in Cheche you are liberated already. So the first is that there is no self-nature. So the mundane and the seculars would have this self-nature, but the truly liberated ones have no self-nature. And everything and anything, any phenomena in this world has no self-nature. Does a house have self-nature? No. They're just woods, nails, cement, bricks, roofs, and only those combine. And if you separate them, then the house is gone. But this Vajra bell, does it have self-nature? Yes. The function is this. But that's because when it is only a brass, then it has no more self-nature. So in the Diamond Sutra, it talks about in the phenomena or the look of a union, then combined together there would be self-nature, but dispersed or separated, there's no self-nature. So the four elements, the earth, water, fire, and wind, and space, the five elements, when they are dispersed or dissipated, then there's no more self-nature, even your body. So everything has no self-nature. So this talking about making a statement. This so it's like this and also that. So the student wrote, my mom's leg is skinny and also fat. So the teacher asked, is it skinny or fat? Some people are very careless and some people are very meticulous. Like Master De Hui is very meticulous, very detailed. So anything, just one thing in the brain of Master De Hui would become 1,000. Is it related to politics? Is it related to the county? Is this thing affect Lei Zhang Temple? Would this affect the fellow disciples? Would affect this? Would affect that? And he would think a lot of little details. In English, it's called picky. But there's a benefit to being detailed oriented. He would think proactively. So he has self-nature, and his self-nature is very detail-oriented because he read many detective stories too much. So a detective would think, is this the footstep of a duck or a chicken or a dog or a human being, a child or etc. So even with the footstep, he would think a lot. So that's the nature of Master De Hui. But Grandmaster is very carefree. So don't think too much, just do it. So I'm the kind of person like that. Just do it, don't worry. I don't worry about anything. The Chinese idiom is like when you don't care about anything, you would say 3, 7, 21 and 5, 6, 30. And so 5 times 6, 30. Huh? Is it a wrong calculation? Even when it's wrong, it's also right. I don't care. Just do it. And then when you encounter a problem, then you resolve it. That would be called liberation. But if you have such a nature, then if he wants to be liberated, he would go one by one and resolve one by one. And that would be okay too. Then it would be resolved. Then it would be liberated. But Grandmaster is different. Grandmaster would be liberated at once, right away. So this is also different characters. But a true liberation has no self-nature. American president has always have the risk of being ridiculed, but they have they have the couth of handling that. So the old George Bush president said, so our economy must be very good, otherwise people would not throw this expensive crocodile skin shoe to him. And when the young George Bush was also thrown a shoe, and he was very agitated and said, my dad had kept one shoe before and now I have the other shoe. Now would become a pair. So that's a sense of humor. So a sense of humor is also a kind of liberation. So it is good to handle anything with a sense of humor, everything with a sense of humor. That's a kind of liberation. You need to understand what liberation is. When you have a certain attachment in your heart, you need to liberate yourself from that attachment. Some people cannot let go of their romantic relationships. A man loves a woman and the woman doesn't love the man. And he'd rather injure or harm the woman, or vice versa. A woman loves or fell in love with a man and the man ignores her, then a problem occurred, then problem would happen. And also when a man and a woman breaks up, that's really very difficult. So if one side doesn't want to let go, there would be attachment. And then she would be jealous of you for her whole life and would harm you and always would never let you go, like the mad dog. That she bite on you and never let go, maybe for 5, 10 years, or even for a whole lifetime. And she never let go even when there's a thunder. And even when there's a thunder, the dog or the woman still bite on you. So that kind of love is really quite scary. But anyone that understands about liberation would say, there are too many flowers in this world. Why worry about just a single flower? If you cannot get this love, you can turn your attention to others. And then if you don't get the love from this one, then maybe you can find liberation at the nightclub. Because she doesn't have a mate sitting there and you don't find a mate, then you can say, may I buy a drink for you? And because both of you are in the same situation, that's not bad. That's also a kind of liberation. So you need to understand about liberation. Then you would not bite on that person or hold on to that person and never letting go. So this Church taught you the methods for liberation. Actually, love is the most difficult thing. It's difficult to let go. When you love to the utmost, she would become jealous and envious. As long as it's not the extreme, it's still okay, because when there is love, there is also jealousy. But if it is too much, then something horrible could happen. Then they cannot be liberated. So splitting up or breaking up is a really difficult thing. But let me teach you a method. If you want to break up and you can't find a good reason, you can try this. When the woman wants to break up from the man, you can show that you're very depressed and go to the man and said, I have a breast cancer. On both of my breasts and have to be cut off. Then you laugh and the woman went home. And if the man still made a phone call to you, that means the man still loves you. But if the man thought, oh, when the two are gone, then he would consider for a while. So you can try this. Right? And when the man doesn't love the woman anymore, he would look very depressed and said, honey, sorry, I had a one-night stand. And the woman said, oh, but we still love each other. It's okay with one-night stand. But the man said, but I have AIDS. If that woman still loves you, even then, then there would be a true love. That's incredible. But most of the time, if the man gets AIDS, then she will not be with you anymore. So what is liberation? Liberation has its methods. No self-nature is a kind of method. So in Church, that is a good method. That's all for today. Om Mani Padme Hum.